Hey, what's happening, guys? Dan Darrow here with another Options and Play video update. We are through a good portion of earnings season, and we still have plenty of earnings coming up. But like once you get past the heart of earnings season, it gets more spread out. So you have like 75% in 2 weeks, and then you have the other 25% over like the next 6 weeks. So things get a little bit fewer and farther between now. But there are still plenty of interesting names still due out. What will be um, kind of what I'm curious to see this week is whether this pattern that's been playing out of just stocks kind of like flat or up, not a whole lot of things getting crushed, if that continues. So that's kind of something, like from like a personal perspective, I'm going to be watching to see. And I guess Monday before the Open, we're going to get a test of that because you have two kind of beaten up names reporting that probably aren't likely to be good. So Marriott, the price in about 6.5. Um, I'm not really sure if it's going to move at all. I mean, Hilton already reported and it barely budged, so it seems like options are kind of expensive on this based off of what Hilton did, which was basically nothing at all. So it seems like either like a credit idea or an avoid. Under Armour, so another one that's been absolutely crushed. About $1.50 is what they're looking for, and I really don't know what to expect on retailers this quarter. So Under Armour had a big move in February after disappointing, and it it really has kind of tightened up around 10. The chart does seem interesting, and it is typically a move around earnings. But I mean, so many retailers like their business is closed, and I mean they haven't really been that volatile. At least like the ones that have reported up to this point. So I really don't know what to make of it. This is kind of like a toss up to me. I might actually wait, see what they say, see what the stock does, and then use that as like a gauge on how do I or use that as a gauge to like kind of like figure out what I want to do with like other retailers that are reporting soon. So I mean, I think if anything, that's probably how I would approach it. After the close on Monday, Datadog, so software name, like a new IPO ish, about 775. So we recently had a trade on this, and I mean the stock has just continued to run and run and run. So it's going into earnings basically at its all-time high. It's up a lot in a short period. I imagine the numbers are probably pretty solid, but expectations are probably significantly higher now. So probably an avoid and watch for maybe like another opportunity to hop in for like a swing trade because it worked pretty good just over the past month. Tilray. So about $1.30 is what they're pricing in here. Cannabis stocks have been acting better, but Kronos was pretty disappointing today. They just reported, and it didn't move as much as they were anticipating. So I don't know if that's kind of like a tell for Tilray next week, but um, the thing that's different than Tilray, it's still pretty heavily shorted. So that kind of in and of itself can create some movement. Maybe look at something on the bull side just because it's been showing like some positive signs and it's still a pretty big pocket on the upside where you could see some short squeeze happen. So maybe something like slightly speculative on the bull side on that one. Before the open on Tuesday, really nothing of interest. After the close on Tuesday, there was really only one thing, and it's not even like high up on my radar. Progeny, so kind of like a newer IPO. They're pricing in about 2.5. It was really hot out of the gate. Just really took off after it became public, and then it rolled over. Kind of an interesting tight range ahead of earnings. Seems like an interesting setup to me. If the numbers are good, maybe you can turn the corner back higher, get some of that momentum back. Option pricing, not bad overall either. So either maybe something speculative, bullish, or even I guess it could be a decent like volatility strategy candidate too, because the option pricing is really not too bad. Before they open on Wednesday, CyberArk, so another software name. This is a cyber security one. So software stocks just incredible. The action there is just hard to believe, but just so bullish. Cyber names waking up too. So this was clobbered on its first quarter earnings report, lost about half of its value after that, and now it's come back. It does seem like it could be like a pretty good bounce back candidate. So if they can like deliver a good number, especially if it can get through the 200, it kind of opens it up for a possible move into like the gap. But at the same time, the option pricing actually seems like they leave some room on either side. So might actually look at some sort of strangle, maybe like a staggered strangle. But overall decent setup. It typically is a pretty big mover. Pricing's not bad, and there's gaps on it, so kind of a good combination on that one. After the close on Wednesday, so one of the big names next week, Cisco, 275 is what they're pricing in. It's going to be interesting to see if they have any, or if they've seen any tailwinds from stay-at-home work trend. Kind of a tight pattern, could have upside, right? I mean, kind of reestablished support above key like longer-term 40 level. So if it can put together a good print, there's some room above like 44. So might look at something on the bull side. I mean, I don't think it's going to be a huge point mover, but probably the option pricing is not terrible, so it does leave maybe a little bit of room. Smile Direct, so $1.75 is what they're pricing on this. This has been moving around a lot recently, but I can just never seem to time it right. Stock off its low, has gaps in the chart, still pretty heavily shorted too, but I kind of wonder how their business was impacted in March and April. So I don't know. I don't have a conviction with it. I've never really had too much success with it, so probably just going to leave it alone. But if it's one of those names you have conviction on, might be worth a look because it does typically move pretty well. Thursday before the open, Wix. So, well, actually, first, I mean, Baba, it's not confirmed yet. So, I mean, this is going to be something you want to keep an eye on, see when they confirm for the earnings date. But we'll circle back to that when they do. Wix. So 13.5 is what they're pricing in. This stock is a serial disappointer. Tends to rally into earnings and then sell off after. So seems to be playing out that exact same way again. I mean, above 150, the chart could really be explosive, but it's hard to trust it after like the really, really, basically steady pattern of mixed lackluster reports that it's turned into. I'm more in like the leave it alone or wait and see camp on that one. After the close on Thursday, it's another big tech name, AMAT. So the price in about 4 points. Now, I don't know how much uncertainty is left with AMAT because you basically have had every other major semi supplier in the space report. So AMAT's kind of the last of the group. The pricing seems a little high just for earnings because, again, I don't know how much uncertainty is left there. So I'm going to have to wait and see. Maybe if the option pricing comes down, it could be worth a look. But if it remains around 4, I'm probably going to be avoiding it. New Relic, another software name. So about 6 points is what they're looking for. This is kind of a wild card to me. It's had a few disappointing reports over the past year, and the stock has really been crushed. But option pricing, not bad. Chart seems to have room in it. Again, it does tend to move pretty sharply either way, so more speculative, but also one that could be worth a look because it does have a pretty good history of moving pretty substantially too, and the option pricing is not bad. Okay, Friday before the open, JD. So this one has really been pretty impressive overall. They're pricing in about 375 or so, and I mean, stock is just off its 52-week high. Been materially outperforming Baba. Looks very bullish going into earnings, and the all-time high is right around 50, which would theoretically be in play if it moves that priced-in move amount. Stock above 46, pricing in 375. So, I feel like the bullish setup, some sort of bullish strategy seems interesting here, especially because like the March report was pretty good. So I'm thinking bullish on this one. And then last but not least, VF Corp. So again, with Under Armour earlier in the week, don't really know what to expect from the retailers. VFC is pricing in about 5 points. I'm going to see what Under Armour says and then use that to kind of gauge whether or not I want to do something with VF Corp, because the patterns are fairly similar. And like Under Armour, VFC does have a history of moving, but I really don't know what to expect. Like retailers, I feel like the bar is just so low. So again, kind of wait and see. I'll get maybe a handle on it after Under Armour, and then can go from there. All right. So like you can see here, I mean, earnings not like the same volume on a day-to-day basis, but I mean there are a couple interesting ones at least every single day, and that's probably how it's going to be now for like the next like month to 2 months. So still lots going on, still stocks flying around, so plenty to do. So lots to look forward to, right? So if you like these videos and you're looking for more option trade ideas, more earning trade ideas, uh, more information on options education, please follow up with the link in the description of the video for more information on options and play. All right. Have a safe weekend. Have a healthy weekend. And I will talk to you on Monday.